to a little bit about the collective topic. So I mentioned before, can you see? Yeah? Okay. So what we call all this chart, what we call the beginning of the chart, we call selflessness. Okay, selflessness. So according to Buddhist science, permanent or impermanent or existent phenomena or non-existent phenomena, we call everything is selflessness. It's the kind of body. So within the selflessness, you can see there's a two branches or two groups. One is non-existent phenomena, second is existent phenomena. Clear? Right? So you just imagine, doesn't matter the existent or non-exist, or permanent or impermanent, doesn't matter. Everything we must include into selflessness. So I will tell you a little bit why we have to learn about selflessness. So we Buddhists believe all the problems which is we have, all the sufferings which is we have, because of the ignorance. Ignorance. If I have very thick and strong ignorance about the particular object, then I don't know much about the reality of the object, particular object. Or I have a lot of confusion about the particular object because I don't know the reality of particular object. This means I have very strong ignorance of particular object. When I began to understand, yes, that object, I can see the object this way, but the object exists another way. Then slowly you can understand the reality of phenomena. The more you know the reality of phenomena, then you can have a less confusion, you have a less ignorance, and you have a less negative thoughts, negative emotion. What does mean ignorance? Because everybody perceive all the phenomena exist independently, exist solidly. But reality, nothing exists independently, nothing exists from the object side. That's what we call selflessness. Okay, so within the self there are two groups, right? Non-existent and existent. Within the non-existent, there's no any branches, it does not exist, no any branches. So within the existent phenomena, how many branches it has? It has two, right? Well, this is kind of existent phenomena. It has a two branches or two groups. What? Permanent, impermanent, or thing, non-thing. Generally, when we say thing, we usually prefer, right? Like a chair, pen, pencil. We say
refer,
or we refer like a pen, pencil. But according to Buddhist philosophy, according to Buddhism, we says every impermanent phenomena are thing. So thing and non-thing. In chart, you can see there's a within the phenomena, they divide into two groups, right? Subject and object. We just forget the subject, is we will talk next time. So object. Here object, existent phenomena, knowledgeable object, existent phenomena are equivalent, is same. You can say object, or you can say existent phenomena, or you can say knowledgeable object is equivalent, right? So now you just imagine, okay, within the selflessness there's a two group, non-existent and existent. And within the existent there's a two group, thing or non-thing, or permanent and impermanent. That's why, all the phenomena must include into two groups, what we call permanent and impermanent, or you can call thing and non-thing. So this side is impermanent side, that side is permanent side. It's a number two. It's two means in the permanent there's a two group, right? Permanent we can divide into two group. Always, everywhere permanent, sometimes, somewhere permanent. For example, I gave you example like a space, emptiness, a permanent, everywhere, every time. For emptiness of this chair, space of particular cup, space of this hall is sometimes, somewhere permanent, not everywhere all the time. Because where this hall is exists, then emptiness of the hall is exists. If there is no this house, then there is no emptiness of this house. So within the permanent, there is a two group. Okay, it's very easy one. So permanent, what is the differences between permanent and impermanent? So in generally, say, oh, this is permanent, it's always there. But according to Buddhist philosophy and Buddhism, no, we don't say, oh, this house is permanent. I have a permanent job. Usually call, I have a permanent job. I have a temporary job. It is just in general way just saying. But according to Buddhism, the thing, the phenomena which is come, easy way to say come from cause and condition, that we call impermanent. Doesn't matter how big is it, how small is it, but the thing or the phenomena which is come from cause and condition, that we call impermanent. Okay, so think about whole Singapore is impermanent. Everybody impermanent. Our body, our speech, our mind, our emotion, negative, positive, doesn't matter. Everything is impermanent because it comes from cause and condition. It arises from cause and condition. So this is what we call impermanent. So how many synonym or equivalent within the impermanent? Permanence, there must be impermanence, condition, phenomena, and I think it will be 5, right? Yeah, impermanent, condition, phenomena, then cause, condition, and specific characterized phenomena. They are equivalent. Equivalent means, in general is almost same. When you read a book about Buddhism, sometimes you can see impermanent. Sometimes you can see there's a condition phenomena. Sometimes you can see there's cause and condition, but it's the same entity. Okay, permanent and impermanent. Clear? Okay, within the existent phenomena, there's a two, permanent, impermanent. Now we move the impermanent side. It has a lot of branches. So it's a number 3, right? I draw is a number 3. This means impermanent has 3 branches, 3 groups. 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Like matter, consciousness. Number third, non-associated formation. So the last one, the non-associated formation has a two group, with the life and non-life. Okay, with the life and non-life. So with the let's be just do a two group. Okay, life, with the life and without life. For example, all sentient beings, all people, we call, non-associated formation with the life. It's a two group. General sentient beings and non-general sentient beings. Or you can say, Buddha and non-Buddha. So we are including the non-Buddha, like Buddha Shakyamuni, Manjushri, and all the Buddha also include into non-associated formation. And you shouldn't think, like a Buddha Shakyamuni is a permanent. Buddha Shakyamuni also impermanent. His body, his mind, his speech also impermanent. So how many branches within the permanence? There are three, right? Matter, consciousness, non-associated formation. So within the, okay, so before we move, what does mean matter? What does mean consciousness? What does mean non-associated formation? Okay, so according to Buddhist philosophy, when we say matter, for example, this ball, this playboard is matter, this pen is matter. Why? This playboard made of, it's made of 4 elements. 4 elements. Or 4 energy. Something you can go energy, be better to call 4 elements. What are the 4 elements? Earth, water, fire, and air. Earth, water, fire, and air. So the 4 elements, we are not really talking the gross level, which is water we can drink, fire it can burn us. We are talking more subtle level of 4 elements. For example, this pen, when you do some kind of study or analysis, you cannot find there's a water. Inside, yes, inside there's a water, it's a ink, right? Just the lip of the pen. How it's made of 4 elements? How? So we say, it has a wet, right? Heavy, light and wet. This means it made of earth. And all within this this small thing, it has hundreds of thousands of billions of atom or elements. But all elements come together, became as a cap of the pen. All elements come together is hold each other due to the water elements. And when you rub, right, you can see it became hot. That means there is a kind of fire elements. And so there's when you look through various powerful megaloscope, microscope. When you look more closer and closer, then finally you can see there's a lot of hole in this pen, in this lot of. Within the two hole, there's an empty space. If there's empty space, then there's air. So when you heard about the matter or form, you should think is consists of 4 elements. For example, our body. Like you shouldn't think I'm a body. We say I have a body. Our body include into matter. Okay. Our consciousness, it doesn't matter positive or negative or compassion, bodhicitta, all the parts include in consciousness. And our person, human being, Buddha, or like a fish, all the animals, insect, we include into non-associated formation. Okay, so within the impermanent, of course, everybody knows there's 3: matter, consciousness, and non-associated formation. So number 2, right? So within the matters, there's a 2 group. What? External matter and internal matter. There's all the matter. It doesn't matter how it is. Maybe external matter or maybe internal matter. So what does mean external matter and internal matter? For example, this pen is matter. Matter or matter? Matter. Matter. Okay. This is we call external matter. Why is external matter? Why my like a hand is internal matter? Why? Because this pen, there's no any connection with the feeling, consciousness, nothing connection with an emotion. So my hand, my body is whole, connected with the like a mind, connected with the consciousness. Okay, so when somebody cut my hand, leave over there, at that moment the head became external matter, not internal. External matter with the matter which is not connected with the consciousness, we call external matter. The matter which is connected with the consciousness, then we call internal matter. Okay. So within the internal matter, there's 5 aggregates, or 5 faculty. 5 aggregates, 5 faculty we can call internal matter. In eye faculty, air faculty, nose faculty, tongue faculty, and body faculty. We call internal matter. But within the external matter, there's a 2, right? Yes. So that we have. Okay. External matter, how many? We have 5. Form source, sound source, smell source, and tactile, right? Tactile or what? Tactile source and tangible source. Okay. So I think we already learned about the form source within the form source. Okay. Here, What's the differences between 5 of them? Okay, the external matter, something which very much depend on the eyes consciousness that we call the form matter. For example, the color, shape. We cannot, differentiate the color and shape just, through like a touching. We must differentiate through your eyes consciousness. That's we call also form source. And within the form source, we have a two, right? Color and shape. Color and shape. For example, before somebody, having seen kind of laptop, and the person don't know anything about the laptop. They thought, what is this? At that moment, he can see the shape and color, right? And the blank person, when he or she touch the object, then he can say, yes, this is laptop, this is chair. But that he or she learn through, through, how do you call it?
Experience.
No. For example, experience, yes, before experience, somebody said, when you feel this kind of shape, you should call laptop. When you feel this kind of shape, you can say this chair. This must come from through experience or instruction, not through the eyesight. In generally, yes, the shape, color, we must differentiate based on our eyes consciousness. Oh, there's a shape and color. Color we have a two, primary and secondary. Primary there's a 4, secondary there's a 8, and the shape there's a 8. So it's very easy. So we finish this one. And the sound, how many different types of sound we have? Just think, true, right? So there's so many different types of sound, but we include the true sound. Sound of what?
Natural sounds.
Oh no. We should say sound also. In English, what do we call?
Conjoined.
Oh, conjoined. Conjoined and unconjoined. Joined means, for example, like this sound is coming, so conjoined sound, because it's coming through like a person activity, or it depends on the person, or depends on the human being, or depends on the other sentient being. Somebody sing sound, we call the conjoined, right? Because the sound related to the person or human being or people, and the people have a motivation. That's why the sound coming from person or other sentient being with the motivation, but not necessarily have a motivation. Conjoined, we always think the sound which is coming from human being or sentient being, or through the who have a life, we call conjoined. And when you hear the sound of the ocean, sound of the wind or tree or flower, this is called the unconjoined sound, a true sound. So here, one thing you must know, when the person says something, most time the sound carry the meaning. When the person says something, always connect it or motivate it by some positive thoughts or negative thoughts, which are neutral. For example, we know the person saying very nice thing about you with a bad motivation. Oh, you are so nice, you are so good, or you are wonderful, with a good motivation, bad motivation, with a bad thoughts. But the sound is not nice, right? Nice, and you are a wonderful person. But when you hear the sound, sometimes you can feel it, right? Sometimes you can feel it. Oh, it make you unhappy. But he or she say, oh, you are nice, you are wonderful, you are good, but you can feel it. Oh, something wrong, because the sound is motivated by negative thoughts and negative emotion. And sometimes you can see your friends say, oh, you are not really good, you are not really doing good things, you are always doing bad things. But the sound is always says bad thing about you, but when you heard sound, you feel happy. Oh, or she or he really concerned about me. Because that's why they related, the sound is always related with the motivation. And also you can see this is a pen, right? So I just leave this pen here and I say, then I say, can I have a pen? Then I say, can I have a cup? I say, can I have a cup? Then most of you know I'm saying, can I have a pen? Right? But I say, cup. But the reality, what I said, pen. So when you hear the sound or say something, you shouldn't just emphasize what the person say. You just emphasize the motivation. Sometimes you say, you want to say umbrella. There's a raining, you need umbrella. Oh, I need a plate. But if, in fact, you give umbrella because you understand the motivation. So most time when somebody really, say really good thing on you, you shouldn't think, oh, it is really saying good thing. You just think about the motivation. So this is conjoined and unconjoined, right? So that's why I wrote here. This must be like here. If there's no enough space, I move here. Okay, sound, conjoined and unconjoined. Within the conjoined, there's a two. The sound shows the meaning, shows something, or carry meaning. And even though person says something, but there's no any meaning, meaningless sound person, and with the meaning sound. But I say pen, the sound carry the meaning of the pen. When I say but it's just sound coming from me, it doesn't show anything, right? Same within the unconjoined sound, same like a sound of the tree, sound of the ocean, it doesn't show any meaning. But sometimes, some occasion, also the sound show the meaning. For example, in the ancient time, so people sometimes use different sound, like a rock or like a gong, like gang, right? Gong. But the sound just a gong. But the people can understand, yes, now we have to run. Sometimes there's somebody use some sound, that everybody understand, yes, we hide. The sound also carry meaning. Okay, now we finish the sound. Okay, this is like a form source, sound source, and smell source. So within, I think, when generally there's the same thing. There's so many different kinds of smell. But include, we must make into two groups: the natural smell and unnatural smell. The perfumes, the incense, the smell is unnatural because we put so many together and they come some special smell. Like a sandalwood smell, the tree smell, the flower smell is very natural. Okay. Then, okay, so it's a totally like a 4. And the test salt, how many? We have 6, right? Can you see the page?
Yes.
Like a sweetness, sour, bitter, Huh? Okay, anyway, there's a 6, right? So within the 6, the 6, the test, also you can divide into like a sweet. Within the sweet, you can say like 3. Let me breathe, sweetness, medium sweet, and low sweet. Within the sweetness, also you can divide into 3 because it depends on the people's tongue. So usually we can say there's 100 tests, 100 of different tests. All the tests must come from the 6 root test, right? So this finished. Now we can talk a little bit like tangible, right? The last one. Okay, tangible. So this is very important. Within the tangible, we have a 4 elements and another 6. What is in English? Composite elements. 4 elements and composite elements. It is very interesting. The first 4 I think very easy, right? Water, earth, water, fire, and air. It's very easy. So the definition, what's the definition of earth? I think in the text you can see when usually earth, it has a little ability to wet. It doesn't wet. Even the single small atom, it has a wet. Wet. If one single atom, it doesn't have a wet, and then we put 2 single atoms together, then there won't be wet. And with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 100,000, there won't be any wet. That means when you put 10 single atoms, 10 atoms, you can see there's a little wet. That means the 10 single atom has a wet. When you take 1, lift up 9, you see there's a wet. That means that all the matter has a kind of less or more wet. The earth, water, fire, and wind. Also, I mentioned the wind. When you have the wind, always everybody have an expression. Wind, like you can hear, not like this. One single atom move upside down. There's a movement. If there's a movement, there's an air. There's a movement, there's an air. So, according to Buddhism special, according to Tantrayana teaching, all negative emotions, of course, everything very much depends on air. For example, when we grow flower, it needs earth. Without air, we cannot grow. Then we need water, or just water, or a little bit like a wet, kind of wet. If you put like total dry seed on the dry earth, it cannot grow. We need a water, or we need a little more moisture. Moisture. Then, okay, sir, if there's no fire elements, if there's no heat, or little like a warmth, you cannot grow further. You can see the seeds is growing not really bigger and bigger. So the fire element is very important. And the earth. Also, I think usually we say in the earth help the tree grow more, furthermore, air. And also it looks like, if there's an air, the tree has a kind of exercise. It became more stronger. So it's important. Air is very important concept. And also, okay, everybody, I think you heard about the breathing meditation. Breathing in and out, in and out. Why it is so important meditation? Anybody have any idea why it is so important? It's so, very famous meditation, breathing meditation. Breathe in and out, because when you are able to totally focus on your breathing in and out, then your mind is bring in, not out. Because you totally focus only the breathing. When the breath go in, you should think, oh, it's going in. The breath going out, coming out, you should think come out. You just focus on the air. And finally, the breathing become more shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. That means one day you able to control the breathing. Once you able to control the breathing, then you will able to control the emotion. Because all the emotions, positive or negative, all the minds, active towards the object, active due to the subtle wind. That's why, according to Buddhism, the breathing meditation is very important. Controlling the wind is so important, because if you want to control all the negative emotion, you must control your wind, which is running within your body. If you are able to control the wind, then you're able to control the negative emotion. So wind. So I think today we quite finished about the matter side. Okay, matter, consciousness, and non-associated formation. So within the non-associated formation, we divide into two, right? With the life and without life. So here I will talk a little bit about the life, or sentient being, or person, or human being. So I said before, for example, my body is not me. It's sure, right? Your body is not you. It's very sure. And your minds is not you. So if you look yourself, you can see clearly they are kind of like body and like kind of emotions or minds, but nothing is not really you. So how we can recognize person, how we can recognize as human being? It is very interesting to look at. My hand is not me, right? Your hand is not you. If somebody touch your hand, you say, oh, you are touching me. The hand is still not you, but we say, yes, you are touching me. If somebody slept, say, oh, you slept me, but my hand is not me. So how we can recognize human being? Why it is so important to know? Because I said that by the third class, I said, as a Buddhist, okay, so as a Buddhist, so everybody come here. I come here to teach you. You come here because you want to learn something. But you don't want to learn from me about like math and science and computer, nothing. Because you want to learn a little bit like a Dharma or like Buddhism. So before you learn Buddhism, before you practice Buddhism, first you really need to know if there is a previous life or not. There is a next life or not. So, that's why there's a lot of debate between Buddhists and non-Buddhists in ancient India. according to Hindu tradition, Hinduism, they believe in God. Because look at the animal, they really don't care about previous life or next life. They don't care, they just care about eating food. They need a shelter. When they're hungry, they need some water and food. And they need a shelter. They really don't care in previous life and next life. We human beings, we are quite intelligent. One way we say we are intelligent, but we are not really. But intelligent, so then we have a question. Oh, I'm here, I'm a human being, where I come from? Where I come from? Yes, my parents. So we know our body is coming from our parents. But our minds, all the negative emotion, all the negative thoughts, are they come from our parents or not? Finally, they just push back, okay, let's say my body come from my parents, my body come from there. But finally, where really they come from? That's why, the Hindu said, yes, everything starts from God, the God or God. Because they look back, okay, my parents, and then hundreds of thousands, billions, then they thought finally there must be something, there must be someone who created this world. There must be someone who created like me. That's why they believe in God. God. That's why they say the starting point of everything is the God is the starting point. The second, okay, now we know we are here. So where we will go after we dead? Where we will go? Or there's some way we can go, or there's nothing we can go. So what do you really think? Is there next life or not? What do you think? If there's next life or not? If there was previous life or not? What do you think? Right? That's what look at. So as a Buddhist, we just assume or we just follow the many different texts, we follow with the many different master or Buddhists say, yeah, there's a previous life, there's a hell, there's a heaven. We just follow after them. We're not really, convince ourselves. So if you really want to practice Buddhism, if you really want to be Buddha in the future, if you really want to achieve Nirvana and Buddhahood, we must know there's a previous life through your reasoning, through your logic, or through your own experience. If some of you are going to say, yes, there's no next life, even though you say there's no next life, but you must need some good reason, good logic, good experience, there's no next life. So, so this is so important to know about the next life and previous life. If you don't believe in previous life, if you are not accepting previous life, then we don't need to talk about the karma. If there's no next life, then we don't need to talk about the nirvana on Buddhahood, right? Actually, as someone who are really enough intelligent, they can achieve nirvana or Buddhahood within one life. But we are so lazy, I don't think we can achieve nirvana and Buddhahood within one life. And there's no next life. Just totally forget the religion. Look at the purpose of practicing Dharma, studying Dharma is finally we wish to achieve Nirvana, right? Buddhahood. If you don't think there's a previous life, then just emphasize about the only one lifetime, just be happy with whatever you want. So please, everybody, just study by yourself or think more about if there's next life or not, if there was previous life or not. If you really convince yourself that there's next life, then another question, how I will go to next life? How? If there's a previous life, how the previous life come into being in this life? And also, within our group, we have a male and female group. So, look at physically, yes, there's a little differences between male and female. In generally, look at everybody has in two hands, face, nothing much difference. Even though emotional level, yes, certain area there's a little differences between male and female, but generally, or male or female, everybody have anger, attachment, desire, hatred, ignorance, competition. It's very much, everybody has the same emotion. So, so everybody must recognize what is our purpose of study and practice of study of Dharma. Because this morning I was doing exercise with the life fitness. When I was running the machine, I really thought, I'm going forward or I'm really going backward. Look at, then I just moving, but I haven't reached anywhere. Like this. We are since we born, we have been visiting different temples, different monasteries, we have been doing so many different religious activities. But I don't think we're going to reach somewhere. It's just like this. So that's why, we should emphasize about how to attend my mind, how to minimize the negative emotion, how to increase the positive mind. If you go this way, then you can reach bit by bit, bit by bit. Otherwise, you are like playing the exercise, just jumping. You're not going to reach anywhere. So my main point is here, the Buddhism is not as, like tradition. You have to do. Like tradition, we have to do. It doesn't matter if you like or you don't like. You have to do. So Buddhism, you shouldn't take as a tradition. And the Buddhism, you should take as a necessary thing for your life. If you think, yes, the Buddhism, the Buddha Dharma is so relevant for my life, it is so important for my life, then you can have a progress. If you think, because I have to accept Buddhism, I have to go to temple, I have to do this because it is my culture, then you won't have any progress in your life. Even though like a Tibetan, Singaporean, Chinese, Korean, Japan, doesn't matter, we always adopt Buddhism as our culture, as our tradition. This is very wrong, it's a very wrong thing. For example, when you visit a doctor, why you visit doctor? Why you see doctor? Because you recognize I have some problem, physical or mentally. Same, before you practice Dharma, before you study the Dharma, you must recognize, yes, I have some problem. I have a problem. Then when you see doctor, then doctor going to tell, okay, you have this problem, you have a headache, you have a stomach ache, you have this, you must take this medicine. Same, before you study Dharma, before you practice Dharma, you must understand, I have a problem. You shouldn't think, I have a physical problem, I will go to study Dharma. If you have physical problem, you must go see doctor, take a medicine, do exercise. Because we have an emotional problem, right? Emotional problem, negative problem. So in order to overcome all the negative emotion, all the negative problem, then we need to learn how to overcome. Okay, after you visit doctor, the doctor will give you, like prescription or medicine. It is not enough. You just visit the doctor, receive the medicine, keep it in your house. It's not enough, because most of you in different center, you meet different master. you learn so many things from different master and different, like a guru or different center. When you learn, if you don't practice, it's look like you got the medicine, you leave the medicine in your house. It's not enough for you. Whatever you learn from different dharma center, different master, different teachers, you must put into practice. Otherwise, if you don't really want to practice, then I think you are really wasting time. So in order to overcome all the negative emotion, all the mental problem, in order to overcome, kind of unhealthy mind, then you have to learn the positive minds. Negative minds and positive minds. And I mentioned the negative minds and positive minds look like kind of two contradictory force. Right? Look at within your friends, your family, your co-worker, somebody has very strong negative emotion, negative thoughts. Even though the person has nice physical body, the person has a very nice house, a nice car, but when you see the person, it always make you unhappy because the person has a lot of negative thoughts, negative emotion. Even though some person within your co-worker, some person very simple one, they have very simple house, they usually eat very simple food, they wear very simple clothes. When you meet the person, they make you more happy because he or she has a less negative thoughts, less negative emotion. So as a Buddhist, for example, when we get early morning, when we get up, most of you just do prostration, then you offering candlelight and flower and incense. It's just kind of religious culture. It's not really, pure kind of Buddha teaching. It's kind of culture, kind of, I'd say religious activities. Doing all of this thing, doing, offering thing, offering candlelight, offering food, or whatever, is accumulate a lot of good merit. But it cannot reduce your negative thoughts and emotion. For example, when you are really angry, at that moment, if you lit a candlelight, the anger never go away. When you have very strong kind of attachment to someone, if you do some kind of exercise, the negative emotion is still there. It means through religious activities, is sure it cannot minimize the negative emotion and thoughts, but it accumulates a lot of merit, a lot of karma. Okay, you shouldn't mix the religious activities and you shouldn't mix the Buddhist activity and Buddhist Buddha teaching, practice of Buddha Dharma. What does mean practice? What does it mean? If you practice compassion, you must practice emptiness. You must practice understanding emptiness. What does it mean practice? Anybody have a question? What does it mean practice? Practice.
Just living within the Dharma.
Yeah, living within Dharma.
Practice it. That's how you are.
Yeah, right. She's right. Also, living with the Dharma. That means when I say practice compassion, your mind always with the compassion, and your mind familiar with the compassion. First few seconds, then 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, your mind most time familiar with the compassion. When we say practice, great compassion, also your mind familiar with the great compassion. Okay, practice doesn't mean it's just prostration, offering thing. When you say practice, you must familiar your mind with the positive way, not the negative way. Practice. So there's no guarantee if you spend your whole life with the religious activities. There's no guarantee you will be a happy person. If your mind familiar with the great compassion, patience, kindness, tolerance, and also forgiveness, there's a guarantee you will be a happy person, you will have a happy life. If you are a happy person, if you are happy life, then there's a guarantee, your friends also be happy. So when you have practice Dharma, you shouldn't think, oh, I have to visit the temple, clean the temple, or finish something, donate something. You shouldn't think. When you say somebody practice this, you should think, yes, I have to familiar my mind with this certain thing. And she said, your mind stay with the Dharma. That means your mind always stay with the positive way, not the negative way. Right? So I think time is finished.
We have half an hour.
Oh, that's why I cannot see very well. Okay, so we have half hour, it's nice. So before I talk more, so does anybody have any question? Yes?
Thank you for the talk. You're talking about that Buddhists in Asia always follow the tradition, right? Yeah, which is very true, right? A lot of us, because of the past Dharma teachings that's not prevalent, that they just practice it as a tradition. But at the same time, isn't it true also that certain doctrine in Buddhism, like reincarnation that you mentioned, or maybe the better term is rebirth, right? Because reincarnation more refer to the Hinduistic type of Atman-based rebirth, right? Now, reincarnation itself cannot be proved, right? Even though a lot of Buddhist scholars cited the example of the research work by Dr. Stevenson, but during one debate I read between Stephen Batchelor and Robert Thurman, who was the translator of His Holiness Dalai Lama, Stephen Batchelor, who is the author of this book called Atheist Buddhist, he even thought that it is very selectively taken as a proof of rebirth, because he said out of the 1,500 cases of rebirth, indeed you can only prove it less than even 100, right? Because a lot of times the rebirth experience cannot be proven among everybody. That's the problem with so-called reincarnation. So
yes,
it's still a belief, right?
Yeah. For example, for my experience, the best way you can prove yourself is a previous life. For example, sometimes I think everybody has an experience. When you reach the total new country, new place, sometimes you feel it. Oh, I've been here.
Deja vu.
Somehow you have some experience, right? That means why this kind of feeling, particularly you have, why don't other person don't have this? Second thing, when you meet a total new person, you don't know anything about the person, the background, where he or she come from. You don't have any idea. Even though the persons look very unclean, very ugly, but when you meet the person, you feel so closeness. The person, other person, it look very clean, very attractive. Sometimes you feel uncomfortable. Even though you don't have any conversation, rather you will feel it. Sometimes you can feel so happy with someone, somewhere you are not really happy with someone. It's kind of coming automatically. Why this kind of feeling we have?
So can we say that?
Number third one, the most important one, I mentioned is within the impermanence, there's a matter, consciousness, and non-aesthetic formation. Okay, so we can understand, in order to build this house, we need a cement, we need a brick, so it's made of the matter. And the brick we can transform as a cup. A cup we can transform as like a pen and pencil, right? That's why the matter can transform different matter, next one. But the consciousness, so we believe primary cause and secondary cause, primary cause. So we everybody accept, right? I have a consciousness, I have a feeling. So what is the primary cause of today consciousness? What is the primary cause of the today consciousness? And for example, So what is the primary cause of the child? One question, child mind. No, the child body come from parents. They are from their gene. So what is the primary or substantial cause of the child mind? So this is very important question which is raised. Actually, the Buddha said, I don't remember the words, but the Chandrakirti said, non-consciousness thing never be causal, substantial cause of the mind. Non-consciousness thing never become causal, primary cause of consciousness. That's why I said the small baby, the small baby has a body, the bone, this come from parents, very clear. But the consciousness come from where? Come from parents? What? So that's why according to Buddhism, every sentence is a body. The body come from parents, or the body come from water, they come from the rock, whatever. But the consciousness is a big question. That's why according to Buddhism, we can say there's a previous life because my consciousness only, come from the previous mind, not the previous matter. The consciousness transfers always consciousness. That's why we can prove, everybody has a previous life. That's why everybody, we are like reincarnation. Maybe I'm reincarnation of the pig. Maybe I'm reincarnation of the cow or fish, right? When you have the reincarnation, you shouldn't think, wow, something special. It's nothing special, reincarnation. When someone has a previous life, they take another human life, and he or she remember the previous life. Then we say he or she is a reincarnation of certain lama, or certain Rinpoche, or certain person. That means the person nothing really special. Yeah.
In that case, Geshe, if you ascribe that to the consciousness, same consciousness, aren't you trapped into the Swabhava kind of proposed by the Sarvastivadin, Buddhist, which we consider divine, right, from a Madhyamika point of view, because you think that the consciousness is changing, transforming from one life to another, so it's unchanging. But Buddhism itself try to, is a philosophy that do not fall into either Sasatavada or Uttadavada, the eternalist or nihilist, right? You don't want it to be trapped into the eternalist.
Nihilism.
So how do you solve this?
No, nihilism means like kind of nothingness, right?
Especially the eternalist, the Swabhava.
Yeah. Oh, eternalism. For example, the eternalism, the words, they come from like eternal. Like Christianity talking about the eternal. There's a three things. In soul has the three characteristics. What? Eternal. No, there's three characteristics of the self. Atma has a three characteristics.
Unchanging.
Immortal, unchanging, right? No. Omnipresent, omniscient,
Science, yes.
omniscient,
Yes.
and omnipotent.
Yes.
Omnipotent. Look at the we said eternalism, right? Eternal is always exists as a unchangeable. But the consciousness, I said, there's a one consciousness has a 5 minute duration. 5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes. The 1 minute consciousness change into second minute, third minute, fourth minute. This is changing constantly. Then there's no way we Buddhists, accept like a eternalism. Because it's changing, but the continuous going. For example, when you shoot an arrow, this arrow reaching to that main point, there's a lot of changing. But the arrow is reaching over there. We thought it's reaching with the reaching, because there's not really unchanging one. It's changing constantly. So, even though a previous consciousness come in this life consciousness go in next life, but it will go with the changing. Nothing go without changing. If there's no any changing, then we cannot say it's transform. There's a changing, that's why the transform is possible. Without changing nothing, you can say transform.
In that case, we can't cite the experience of deja vu then, right? Because deja vu, the experience that you have been to a place, you have known a person from a past.
Yeah,
because
but look at within the in this moment, I think we have 7 billion human beings, right? More than 7. So within the 7 billion, how many people reject next life and previous life? Maybe 25%. Don't accept previous life, next life. If you ask question to them, why you really reject, why you really don't accept, then they're going to say, yes, I thought. They don't have a really good reason. They say, yeah, I thought about that, there's no previous life, no next life. They say, yes, I thought, no good reason. But the person who believes in next life and previous life, they're kind of authentic reason. If there's no previous life, I said, how we have that kind of particular feeling which is other people doesn't have. So now we have to go all the way. So this morning I was talking with Sonam, like the concept time, right? Concept time. Go all the way to the concept time. We know there's a kind of liquid. Within the liquid there's a consciousness. The consciousness where it come from. And look at within the one family, same parents has look at the twins. The physically they are like a kind of identical, right? Very similar, the face, the body, but the emotion level, the thought level, they are totally different. And also you can see, also you can do very small experiment. 2 twins just live totally separate room. Don't tell anything about what happened, outside of your house. When you bring like a particular, like a what we call the plastic thing which look like there's a name, look like a cow or like tiger, made of plastic, made of cloth. What we call toy. Okay, when you bring like a tiger, one children don't like. The child totally hate the tiger. Maybe one child didn't like it. Why he or she hate the tiger? Why he or she like the tiger? Why? They don't have any idea what tiger it is. What is this? They don't know this tiger. They don't know this kind of dragon. But certainly someone like, someone dislike. Why? So that's why we say this kind of logic we can prove previous life, and also said the fresh born child has a previous life because he or she can drink milk right away without teaching you how to drink, where they can get milk. That's why through this kind of logic or idea we can say there's a previous. But look at, there's a very famous Tibetan writer, Gindu Chundel. He was very scholar, very intelligent, and he also have a lot of doubt about the next life. He was a monk. He has a lot of doubt about next life. And before he passed away, then he said to his friends or disciples, okay, now he knows he's going to die. He said, okay, today I'm going to the next life. The famous one, next life. Today I'm going to next life. Unfortunately, I cannot give you message, there's a previous life. He said, I cannot give you kind of message, there's a previous life. So we cannot, so difficult to 100% say there's a previous life, there's a next life through your experience. But through logic, yeah, we say there's a next life. And also, if you believe in previous life, it's good for you. Because somehow, moment of the death, I think we have a very, strong emotional problem. Very, very, very strong emotional problem. For example, so moment of the death, for example, when I pass away, moment of the death, I can see my friends, my family, my object is there. Also, I can understand, oh, I have to live somehow. I have to live because I cannot carry things with me. So that means there's a lot of dilemma, a lot of confusion. Then you are very worried. And somehow you really hurt yourself. Because you can see all the material which is you collect in whole life is there. And you can see the left side, you cannot carry with you. Because you don't believe in next life. That you thought, what shall I do? If you believe in next life, then you think, yes, I know, I have all the things here which I collect in all my life. I cannot carry with me, but you have still had really good hope. We born in human being and next life. Then you look at you can live this world with a very peaceful way. So if you believe in next life, is really a lot of beneficial. If you don't believe in next life, and there will be a lot of problem. Moment of the death. Yes, any question? Yes?
Is consciousness permanent or impermanent?
Yes, I said before, consciousness is just not only one. There's so many different types of consciousness, positive, negative, and also, gross level, subtle level, whatever. All the consciousness are impermanent. For example, you don't need to think about everybody's consciousness. You should think yourself. You should think your consciousness, your mind. For example, you should think like morning, I should go to particular restaurant, eat bread or drink coffee. After 10 seconds, no, I don't want to go that one. I want to go that one, that area. That means your mind is changing. That's why, your consciousness is changing minute by minute. Before also, in the morning, you can see someone is so nice, you really like it. Afternoon, you really don't like the person, particular person. That means that your way of thinking is also changing, and your emotion also changing. That's why you should think consciousness is impermanent. Yes? Any question? Feel free.
Just now you were talking about the non-associated formations, and suddenly you started talking about motivation.
Oh yeah.
Are we finished about the non-associated formations?
Yes. Within the non-associated formation, there's a two groups. One is with the life, what is without life. With the life, I think we can say Buddha and non-Buddha. We are non-Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni Buddha. Without life, there's no like a kind of branches. This is finished. For example, what is the example of non-associated formation without life? I say impermanence. Generally, impermanence, conditioned phenomena, are a non-associated formation. But all the impermanent names are not non-associated formation. Yes, true. Generally, we put impermanence into non-associated formation. If thing is impermanent, not necessarily non-associated formation. So we finish the non-associated formation is a true, live with the life, without life. So related to the life, then I said, we say human being, or how we can call, how we can recognize human being or sentient being. That's why I think we almost pretty much finished the non-associated formation. Yeah. So when we're going to start the class for mind and mental consciousness, mind and mental factor, the next month. Yeah. Now we have another maybe 2 class. Within the 2 class, I think I can talk more about the contradictory and non-contradictory and one entity. There's a few types of one entity. Okay, so I don't think they have a question. So I really appreciate for everybody, come to this class. And if you don't think it's not important, you don't think it is kind of useless, if you learn a little bit, few months, then you can see, yeah, it is very important, very useful. Thank you.